having a conversation about maternal mental health. We learned about very interesting things, very serious conditions that could affect our women. And it was all thanks to our consultant obstetrician and gynecologist and fertility specialist at SHIP Healthcare Specialist Medical Center, Dr. Promise Sefogah. And he's back today. Hey, Doc. Hi, how are you?
Yes, sir. I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm very well. Let me get them to adjust your microphone a little bit now because, yeah, I can hardly hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hear me now?
All right, let's see if this time it works, yeah?
Yeah.
There you go. Good to have you. It's working now.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so how's your week been? Have you had a good week?
Oh, yeah. Typically busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Today, some surgeries, consults, procedures, meetings.
Oh, I see.
And then Lexis time.
There you
And
go.
It continues.
We're glad you're here to perform some surgery as well.
That's right.
Because we need you. We started the conversation about maternal mental health. We had more like the introduction, and you give us a bird's eye view of what it is. Today we continue that conversation. What are we looking at, Doc?
Yeah. I mean, today I just want us to talk through some of the common triggers, particularly from the perspective of the women who have experienced these things. Recently we did a nationwide survey, talked to women who are pregnant, who have delivered, women in the community who have lived, who have suffered some of these things, just to share some of their perspectives with a view to let the world know that these things, one, they are real, and these are some of the triggers, and these are the ways of dealing with them, so we can, mitigate the otherwise adverse outcomes if we don't move quickly.
Right. And what are some of these triggers that we were talking about? And we're talking about triggers of the depression?
Yes, triggers of maternal mental health disorder.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Last time we said it could be just the baby blues, which is normal and fades away with time.
Yeah.
It could be perinatal anxiety, where the new mother is just a little anxious than usual because of the new role she's transitioned into. It could be, the first big one is the perinatal depression, which is where the woman feels low. The emotion of the person is down.
Yeah.
So they can't see the fun side of anything. They are just gloomy deep inside, to the extent that no matter who you are in that state, you don't even want to get up and go look for help. So that's when it is depression, and that's when I mentioned that it can get so severe and then make the individual suicidal.
Yeah.
And I share that very worrying statistic with you that globally 400 out of 100,000 women who have suffered these things commit suicide, then locally we found up to 13% of our mothers 2 weeks after delivery feeling suicidal, and suicide is just an indication of severe depression. So
it's interesting you mentioned this. I don't mean to cut you. Forgive me, because last week, right after the conversation, in fact during the conversation, it was just at the tail end of the conversation, I got a message from Abena in Adenta, who could relate to almost everything that you were saying. I just pulled up the message again. I want to read it for you as well, just so people know that this is really real. And a lot of our listeners, or some of our listeners, probably can relate. And Abna is one of them who could relate, because Abna sent us messages and says, Lexis, this thing happened to me after my last born, and I nearly bought poison to feed my 4 kids and myself.
Goodness.
Because I was emotionally abused, but there was a timely intervention. And she let out a huge sigh, and that really broke my heart. When I saw that message.
Yeah, that's it. So you see that Abena's experience ties in the two things we mentioned, that some of the predisposing factors is intimate partner violence, and 1 out of 3 of our women are being abused, particularly emotionally. You see, and we also mentioned that we found from our research locally that women who have had 3 children or more tend to suffer this more. So you see, Abena said she was abused, one,
Yeah.
and she said she was going to poison her 4 kids.
Yes.
You see, so she brings in the 2 risk factors in there.
Yeah.
Thankfully, she said there was intervention, but the thing is, like I was saying, people feel these things, but they are hardly able to come out to seek help.
Yeah.
And that is where the biggest problem is, chiefly because we badly stigmatize mental health issues in this side of the world. You see, so the drive as well is to be able to get to a point where in the media, in the church, in the community, we should normalize conversations around mental health. You know, that breaks the stigma.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I guess that's why we're having all these engagements as well, to educate people and create some awareness around these things. Yes. So.
You know, so I'm glad people are able to share and then relate, and that also brings some therapy, you know. So some of the triggers from the woman's point of view: if a pregnant woman says she has lost a pregnancy before and she's conceived again, she's sitting on edge. Internally, she's very anxious and worried. Am I going to lose this again? You know, and that runs for the whole course of her pregnancy, but they hardly get to talk about it. And typically, when they go see the doctor or the midwife, it's about, okay, how do you feel today? Are you feeling the baby kicking? Take your medication, go and do your blood pressure, see you in another 4 weeks, that kind of thing. They don't get a chance to talk about it. So up until we did this survey, we didn't even know that a previous miscarriage is that much of a big deal for a woman who is now, you know, currently pregnant. Because the thing is, I've lost the pregnancy before, so I don't know if this is also going to miscarry. And particularly if somebody has had to go through some form of assisted conception before they got pregnant, then the anxiety and the stress levels are much higher. And we find that once the anxiety is high, it tips them to depression a lot quicker.
Oh.
You know, and then the pregnant woman said, when they are pregnant and they hear on the news, you know, we talk statistics, maternal mortality ratio is this number out of this. It gets to them that, whoa, they say this number of pregnant women have died and I am pregnant. What's going to be my fate? You know, these are things that, I mean, you and I just talk about and move on. But those listening, so I bet when we are saying it, I don't know how, but let's beware. That is the other side of it for other people. Others said, I am pregnant. And I heard that just last week somebody in my church went to deliver and she passed. So I am scared. So I have sleepless nights. What's going to be my fate when I go into labor? You know, so these are the things that a pregnant woman live with on day-to-day basis. Then someone said that I was told I need to be delivered through cesarean section. And then that was it. I became so depressed and I couldn't eat. I lost appetite for the rest of the pregnancy. And then I sat back. You know, Lexis, if someone is pregnant, there are set reasons why it is just safe to deliver them through cesarean section.
Right.
We say there are absolute reasons there. It has to be cesarean and nothing else. Anything else will be a lot more risky, with the tendency of losing the woman or the baby or both. There are some reasons where we can try to see if the baby can come naturally. If we are not making progress, then we switch to C-section. There are other reasons when there is no risk at all, and we are happier to see a lot of women deliver naturally, vaginally. But if for some reason we say, based on your history or how the pregnancy is going, it has to be safe through cesarean, it is no big deal. So to my women out there, it's not something that you should get depressed about, and then you are not eating. When you don't eat, you don't get enough nutrients to make blood cells, so your blood level drops. That's what we call anemia. Every delivery goes with a bit of blood loss. So if your blood level is already low before you deliver, then it tips you into a loss which will compromise your health. And that is what we call postpartum hemorrhage.
Okay.
which together with the hypertensive related complications are the two leading causes of pregnancy related death.
Oh.
You see, so you're pregnant. We have said, based on your history and the findings, yours would have to be through a planned cesarean section. And then you say no. You didn't seek counseling. If you felt low about it, talk to the caregiver. We'll sit you down, get a clinical psychologist, talk to you about it. None of that was done. Went home, not eating, not eating, not eating. The blood level goes down. And then she delivers, loses a bit of blood, tips them into PPH, and then we're at the verge of losing you. You know, that's how far this thing can go. Somebody said, when they are in labor, the pains, and I won't kid you, labor is painful. Okay? Labor is painful. So, to a lot of the women, that pain of labor is the trigger for their depression after delivery. And so, a lot of them suggested that, can't we allow their spouses or a trusted family friend to join them in the labor room? And this is the woman's narrative, that will give them some hope and encouragement. Indeed, there is evidence to show that in a lot of the other advanced places, these are the things that help. So they are non-medication that help them to cope with the stress of labor and the pain.
Okay.
You know, but unfortunately, a lot of the public healthcare facilities are not built where we can accommodate that as yet.
Oh.
You know,
Okay.
because if you take one of the big teaching hospitals where I work, the labor room is about the studio. It's a big yard. Then we have curtains, so you can have about 7, 8, 9, 10 labor delivery beds. And you can imagine that is not friendly to accept
Yeah.
a spouse. You know, and so these findings have brought up the discussions about how we even need to modify the healthcare labor ward environment, because this is the call from the women who are at the core of it. You know, a lot of the private places we're able to accommodate that quite nicely. There's a place for the spouse to sit by your wife. When the contractions come, she's screaming, you're rubbing the back. Oh, sweet, sorry, you'll be done soon. I love you. That kind of thing. And it does a lot of good. That's support, emotional support, you know. But we have to start from somewhere. And I suppose it's a place for advocacy for the healthcare authorities, that we have reached a place where we need to modify our labor and delivery rooms.
Right.
We are just there, and we have to look at it. That is just the way to go.
Okay.
You know, so when we are building new hospitals for the country agenda 111, I don't know if it has become 112 now or 222, we need to factor these things, and these are the relevant needs of the people. You know, then if a woman delivers ahead of the due date, what we call preterm, it's a big deal. You know, because you can imagine how a preterm baby looks like, very tiny and almost not resembling human being, you know. And so for some reason, through no fault of hers, the baby has come. Okay, and so that is a big emotional toll on this woman. And then to add to that, we keep these babies in what we call the neonatal intensive care unit, the NICU, where life is also extra stressful, because everybody else has had their babies, they're cuddling their baby, nursing their baby. Your baby is in the incubator. Tomorrow, go and get this medicine for the baby. Let's do another lab for the baby. Let's do an x-ray for the baby. You can't breastfeed the baby yet because baby is too tiny, cannot latch onto the breast. Nipple cannot fit into the mouth. Up to a point, we have to express the milk and feed the baby either with a cup or through the tube. And you're seeing your baby out there. You can't touch baby that much. Baby's in the incubator. All these are extra stresses for the woman who has delivered preterm. Okay, so unfortunately, in a lot of our healthcare settings, the providers are just overwhelmed with the core duties of doing the physical things. You know, I tell you a story. One of the women said to us that when her baby was delivered, they rushed the baby to another ward because the baby was born preterm. But she did not hear anything about where they had taken the baby to. So she lay there and she was so worried and sad because she had remembered that when she was growing up in her village, they said somebody's baby was stolen. And so she was worried that, is my baby lost?
Yeah.
You know, this is someone who was delivered preterm, already stressed and very anxious and depressed about it. And then we separated the baby from her without due communication. All in the interest of, hey, this baby is preterm. Let's rush it to the neonatal intensive care. So baby gets popped in the incubator as soon and we start getting the needed intervention to enhance baby's survival without sparing 1 minute to talk to the mother. And these are the real things. So that woman lays there with all sorts of thoughts driving through her head. These are some of the things. And so if the woman, you find yourself in any of these situations, the call is ask for help. Ask for help, because that seems to be the most important missing link. Okay, so we want to strengthen what is referred to as the demand side of things. So when the women are aware and they are empowered, then they can, ask for help. For instance, you're told that you're going to deliver through C-section and you feel the burden of it. You say, doctor, midwife, please, I don't understand. Can you explain to me? I feel overwhelmed about this thought of having me cut to remove my baby. I can't imagine it. Can I talk to somebody? And then we get help for you.
Right.
But you don't go and sleep on that. Now, healthcare cost is a big issue for our women. We're supposed to have a policy of free maternal care, but it's not absolutely free.
Yeah.
When somebody has the national health insurance and they deliver in a public facility, it covers up to a point. Okay. So every now and again, the woman has delivered either vaginally or through C-section. Everything is okay. It's time to go home. They are not able to pay the bills. And the policy is you have to pay the bills before you are discharged home. No, the doctor has discharged you, but you have to pay the bills before you are let out of the ward. So you are literally detained for non-payment of bills. And the women say when they go through that, it takes away their self-esteem. They lose the confidence in living. It tips them into depression. But again, these are the realities of healthcare in our country.
Nana in Sacramento just sent us a message as well. She says, doctor, it's very true. Out of 5 pregnancies, I have 2. It can be very stressful and fearful. So she says, doctor, my 5 pregnancies, I was so afraid that the stress alone made me miscarry. Thanks for the education and the care. That's from Nana in Sacramento. Wow.
Yeah.
So the stress alone can actually cause a miscarriage.
Yes. Constantly thinking, how the brain responds in the direction of your dominant thoughts. So you're pregnant, you've lost a pregnancy before, and consistently your thoughts are, am I losing this one too? Am I losing this one too? And then for some reason, it tips them into depression. And then some do lose it.
Yeah.
But if they will speak up, then there is help to break those thoughts.
You can also send us a message on 055-111-1997. If you have any question, you might do that as well. Lexis, please tell Doc that poor pain management in Ghana, that's common post C-section, is the main reason a lot of women fear C-sections. So we need better pain management post-delivery. What do you think?
I totally agree with her. I agree. Every day I am telling my junior doctors that imagine you have, for being just frank, you have cut another human being for the sake of surgery. Give them whatever is due to kill the pain. But a lot of and I know some of my colleague caregivers and midwives and nurses are listening to me. We have to be generous with analgesia, pain control for our patients. That's just what it is. Our patients, they deserve it, they need it, and they are demanding for it. And sometimes there's a procedure we call catheterization, where before you go for the surgery, we put a catheter through to drain the urine. And some women recall how uncomfortable that minor procedure is as tipping them into depression after delivery.
Wow.
And so I'm using your platform to share this with my colleagues, caregivers nationwide, whatever we can do to minimize the discomfort and the pain for our patients, all patients in all departments, and of course, particularly our pregnant women going through labor and delivery. Let's do that.
Why is there a gap with management of pain after delivery? I thought there's supposed to be standard procedures.
Yeah. So there are standard procedures, which is why, and we follow that. But the gap largely may be due to the fact that sometimes we fail to individualize the care. It's written that you take this medication every 8 hours, and so I have to follow that. Not knowing somebody's pain threshold may be lower. So for that person, she may need it every 6 hours. Or in between the 8-hour doses, she may need something else. So then me, the caregiver, would have to go the extra mile, speak to the superior that this patient seems not to be coping with a regular regime. Can we do something else? Those are the gaps.
So more like a bespoke kind of service.
Yes. But if only we will come down and also try hard as caregivers to be a little bit considerate and human and go a little bit of an extra mile for each individual patient.
Yeah.
A lot of the time as well, there's a problem with the burnout and overwhelmed healthcare providers. You see, so the system also needs to also give some attention to, taking care of the mental well-being of we the providers.
Yeah.
Because you can't give what you don't have.
Absolutely.
Because one of the questions that our women raised concern is that sometimes we the providers are not friendly. And in one patient's terms, he said our nurses do not smile. When we were in labor and we're in pain, I was screaming in pain. The midwife came to me and said, "You're making noise." You see the thing. So unfortunately, that staff at that time did not have the empathy. That woman needed comfort, some reassurance, some encouragement. And so I'm sharing this so that we, the caregivers, we learn from these things, that these little things we do, they go a long way to affect the mental health of our women. And then we mentioned last week that if a woman suffers perinatal depression, the effect doesn't just end with her. It affects the child. This baby is not able to get good maternal care. They don't receive good breastfeeding, which is the best for the baby. They don't do the exclusive breastfeeding. They are fed formula. Unfortunately, there may be an infection. This child gets hospitalized. They get sepsis. They may die. Those who survive because the mother has had this perinatal depression run the risk of poor psychosocial development. They grow up with lower IQ than the woman whose the child whose mother did not have perinatal depression, and they have stunted growth. All sorts of long-term adverse impact on these children. And so whatever we can do as caregivers, we have to do it to save one woman at a time.
Okay, well, this is great. This has been some very good education. Got a message as well from one of our friends. Doc just hit on some very sensitive topics. I recall how I went into labor for 8 hours waiting for an ambulance to pick me from one hospital to the other. I successfully delivered my 28-week fetus, and he's 2 years now. We thank God. He says our ambulance systems are not reliable.
Yeah.
We hope that we improve on all facets of healthcare delivery. Doc, thank you so much. We'd actually wrap it up here. It's been 2 weeks of very good information, and we're grateful to you. And I'm sure you'd want to add some few words before we wrap up.
Yes. I mean, I'm glad we've been able to do this. And the thing is, in closing, let us openly look for help. There is help. There's no point to suffer in silence. And let's encourage husbands to support the spouses. You are the number one partner and should be their, social support. Families, in-laws, friends. Let's be kind. And there is help. There is help. Maternal mental health problems are a medical issue. It does not mean the woman is mad. It doesn't mean the woman is possessed. So a lot of the time they chain this woman, they slaughter animals, sacrifice things for them. But no, it's a medical problem. Let us bring them up. We are actually also trying hard to improve our side as healthcare providers, just so we can prevent these things and improve pregnancy, birthing, and postpartum experience for our mothers. And Lexis, thank you for having me.
Thank
And
you.
I give a big shout out to all doctors and midwives out there who are doing an incredible job taking care of our women. But let's take it a notch higher.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. AC sends a message and says, "That's my doctor who delivered my babies through C-section.
Oh dear.
He has a way of making you feel at ease in preparation for the day." And this was done at Lister.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
mean, you've got a lot of babies out there.
I tell you.
Yeah. Anyway,
Good.
thank you as well, and to the team at SHIP Healthcare Specialist Center. Where is it located for those who want to find you?
Yeah, we're just 4 blocks after Radio Gold
In Dansoman.
Latebiokoshi.
Latebiokoshi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. And I'm sure you have socials that people can reach out to you
Yes,
on,
yes. Is the Shape MC across the social media platforms.
Okay.
Yes, but the front desk is usually open 24/7, where they can get help to get to see the clinical psychologist or.
Okay. Well, you can reach out to the team on 0302 631 Is that it? Yeah, 631 0302 631 Speak to Dr. Promise Sefogah and the team at Shape. Thank you so much, Doc.
Thank you, Lexis.
And do enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Alrighty, right. So, guys, there you go. It's been some very good education. We're grateful that you stayed on. Stay tuned in. There's more after this.
Hey, of course. You know we have been friends since childhood, and we always tell each other everything.
Oh, Cynthia, I know that.